right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin Silz, joined by our local referee in chief from the Chicagoland area, Brad Baumruck. Good to see you, my friend. What's happening?
Not much, just busy. It's November, but we're halfway through.
I know. Can you believe it?
It'll be Christmas right around the corner, baby.
I know. It's already Thanksgiving practically, and Christmas will be here before you know it, and the season will be over before you know it. We'll be in playoffs.
Yep.
It is hard to believe. I mean, once CCM passes, which happened a week ago, I think, boom, like it's over, it seems like. So, did you have some fun at the CCM? Did you get some good games?
Yeah, it was decent. We didn't have any problems, let's put it that way, so that was always positive. But we skated a lot, and, you're tired afterwards, but it was definitely worth it. But we leave after the early morning games, and we're out because the guys that I have go back to St. Louis. So, they get on the road. We used to do the final, but we stopped doing that about 7 or 8 years ago, just because they were getting home at like 9, 10 o'clock at night. Then they got to go to work the next day. It was hard for them, so I understood that.
I know you think St. Louis is really close by, but it's still 5.5 hours, depending on where you're coming from in the Chicagoland area. So, not the easiest drive. We were up in Madison with my squirt team. Had a blast up there. Got clobbered every game, but we came back and now we're winning. So it's good. I think it was good for them because they get better when they get beat up on a little bit. So anyway. Back to referee talk, because that's what we're here for. Been busy. I mean, I don't know about you. It's like a fog because you just go and go and go and go. It's like that little bunny, the ever-ready bunny. Doesn't stop. So a lot of stuff going on.
100%.
I know we want to talk a little bit about some of the our newer referees, the younger referees, if I'm not mistaken. And I know you had a subject that was near and dear to your heart, so I'm going to let you address that.
Yeah, so I thought we'd just talk about, what new parents of referees are. So what I mean is you have a youth child of some sort at some age group here, most of them being under 18, and they're going out to referee their first game. All right, so they've done all their USA Hockey stuff. They got their card and crest. They're ready to go. Okay, now what? I mean, for a lot of people, that's a great question. They don't know. Now what? Yeah. I mean, I did this part. Like, when you go to your job, you go get your training, and then guess what? They assign you a shift. They're like, here you go. You're coming in Tuesday at 6. Okay, well, now what? Well, hopefully we can answer some of those questions. So, number one, you got to get the proper gear, okay, to start off. So, number one, they do need a black hockey helmet and a visor. Okay, you cannot blow a whistle with a cage. That's number one. Now, if you could, it'd be very interesting to watch, but it'd also be a safety hazard with that cage flying around.
We used to see that at the On Ice, right? At the seminars, you see them with cages on.
Every once in a while. We do. So, you got to get a visor and a helmet, okay? Number one, you can buy plenty of secondhand helmets online. There's a lot of stores that sell stuff that's like, right at the discontinued time that you can find a great discount on. It just has to be a black hockey helmet. Okay, so that's one big stipulation between a player's helmet and an official's helmet. It has to be a black hockey helmet. So, once you got that black hockey helmet, now we move over to a visor. Okay, there are very reasonably priced visors for $20 online.
Yep.
Okay. You do not have to spend $1 million to start. You are going to have to invest in a referee sweater. Now, guess what? There are plenty of these. Make sure it's an ice hockey one. Try eBay. There are tons of them floating around on eBay that have been barely used. Referees that get them from leagues, they resell them. And they don't normally sell them at a big cost because they didn't pay for it. They just sell it so it gets out of their basement.
Some of my, it's funny you mention that without even talking to you today, because I was on eBay earlier this week and today again, because I was looking for a specific jersey that I wasn't able to find yet, not at a decent price anyway. Absolutely outrageous. I could buy a new jersey for that. But it's not as cheap as you would think. I mean, they're not selling $10 jerseys on eBay, that's for sure. But
generally you can find them cheaper. But anywho,
yeah,
you
you
can
might
also
want to
check,
try
like, the
Marketplace. Maybe Facebook Marketplace might be
that would work.
easier, might be a little cheaper going local. But all right, keep going. What else? What else are they going to need?
No, they're going to need a whistle, and in fact, buy 2. Okay, just get it over with. Buy 2 whistles, because inevitably one's going to break, or you're going to leave it someplace. So you got 2 problems there to be solved with having 2 whistles. Okay, because if you leave it at one rink, you can go back and get it later. Or if it breaks, because they do break off quite often, because they're on your fingers, and they get caught in players and all kinds of stuff. It's going to happen. You're still going to need a whistle to finish the game. Okay? Then you can go out and get yourself some black pants, okay? They don't have to be specifically referee pants.
Get
They
some
can be like
Zanzibar.
jockey pants. I'm just putting
Some
it out there. We don't have
high-waisted
to spend $1 million.
Zanzibar. There you go.
Well, anyways, and then if they are players and they have player skates, they can wear their player skates. If they're goalkeepers that have specific goalkeeper skates, sorry, you can't wear those to referee. You got to buy a pair of skates. Go to the local hockey shop that has resales. Do something like that, if you need to do it. Okay, so that's the number one thing. And then get yourself a bag, preferably black, that it all goes into, so that you can carry it into the building.
Interesting.
Put your rule book in there too. Okay? Why? Scott,
You know where I'm going to go with
interesting.
this, don't you?
No, I don't want you to go anywhere. So, after you've gotten these things, now what? Now that's the next question, because now I got the gear, I got my card and crest. Nobody's assigned me a shift yet.
Wait. You've missed a couple of the most important things, like a pair of shin pads and a pair of elbow pads at a minimum, because we have guys that show up out there that don't wear anything. They just show up. Like, you need to have elbow pads. You need to have shin pads at a minimum.
And an athletic supporter.
That would be a good idea also.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, we have guys that work high level that don't wear anything. I won't mention him. I won't mention him by name, but he knows who he is.
I know a guy that refereed junior hockey with no shin pads. Never had a problem in the league apartment. He was going to do his laundry. He tripped, fell, smashed his shin on a concrete stair, broke his shin. Guess what? He wore shin pads on the ice after that. He was like, I never want to experience that ever again. But he didn't wear shin pads. Yeah. But anywho, so moving on from that, the next thing is, actually getting assignments, procuring games, right? Okay, so there's several routes that you can go. Number one, if you already play hockey, guess what? Your hockey organization gets referees. Find out who talks to the person that gets referees and get the referee assigner's information. You may have to call them. You may have to email them. You may have to find them at the rink maybe one day. They may be scheduled through the rink. Ask the rinks in your local area. Someone will know where the referees come from. Once you find that person, introduce yourself. Let them know you're a new official. And, be honest with them. Hey, I'm not that great of a skater. Be honest. They'll put you on some stuff to see where you're at, and they'll ask other referees to come back and report on you, and they'll figure out what level is right for you. If you go out and work a game, and it's clearly over your head, whether it's skating ability or confidence on the ice or whatever, don't put yourself in that situation if you can again. Wait till you're ready. Work up a level, okay? If you start off at squirts, working 4 games at squirts, you aren't ready for midget majors.
Tell that to some of our officials, okay?
That's everywhere, Scott. I'm just saying.
I know. We got guys that are new, and they think the minute they've worked a game that they're ready to go to the juniors. That they should be in another league already. So we see it all the time.
Yeah, and then you get your one shot, and then guess what? Well, bye-bye.
You're right back. You're right back to working squirts again.
You're right back. Now you're in the men's league.
Yeah.
So, so that's the biggest things. The next thing with the parents, all right, after you've gotten this part, now your kid's got an assignment.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, get them there half hour before. That way they can get in, they can find the referee room, because believe it or not, they can be tricky to find. And on top of it, sometimes you go ask the front desk, and they're like, we don't know where it's at. which that's always the ultimate. And you're in the giant building. I have no idea. Do you work here? Yes. Okay. Then you walk away slowly. And you go find somebody else that looks halfway intelligent in the lobby. Excuse me, do you know where the referee room is? Oh, yeah, it's over there. Then you get there and there's a keypad on it. And then you go back to the front desk and they know that, though. They didn't know where the room was, but they knew what the keypad combination. Anyhow, that's beyond everything else going on. But anywho, after you get to the building, say hello to your partner, get changed, get ready. If you're nervous, let your partner know, hey, this is my first game. They'll assist you. Referees like to teach each other. Trust me on this. Because the better you are, the less problems I'm going to have every time I'm on the ice with you. So I would rather have you be the best official that I can teach you to be and get better than me so that I don't have to worry about you. Okay? So once we've gotten that situation and we've gotten you there, here's the parent's ultimate fear, the angst of my child being out there. Here's what I'll tell you is different about your child playing and your child refereeing. When your child's refereeing, it is now a job. And it's their job. It's nobody else's responsibility other than theirs and the partner or partners that they're with. You can sit in the parking lot if you don't want to see it, but here's the reality of it. They are going to get yelled at. They are going to get mentally challenged. They are going to get called all kinds of things that you don't want them to be called. And the last thing that anybody wants, including your referee, is a parent, their parents, getting involved in what would be their job. So imagine somebody working at Walmart or Walgreens and mom showing up because a customer is yelling at them and yelling at this person. Walgreens would not be too happy, okay? Think about your official doesn't want to have that feeling either. Okay, so that would be my biggest things. And then when your official, if they come off the ice and they're feeling bad, you know what? Tell them to forget it. Tell them to learn from it. Talk to them about it. Make sure that they know that they can come share with you what happened. Because if those couple of talking minutes may get them the confidence that they need to keep going. And you know what? If they tell you they don't want to do it, just say, if you don't want to do it, I understand. At least have them try it at least more than one time. Sometimes it is not for some people. I do understand that. And sometimes one game can be really horrible. But guess what? There are still far and few in between, even though we do see a lot of situations.
Got a question from Karen. She wants to know what level has the most vocal parents.
Anyone that has its own choir, that's the best level for it.
Yeah, that's
the most
pretty fair.
vocal parents probably be the transition to when they start checking. Bantam hockey seems to be the hot button. It used to be Pee-wees. And that is because you're also dealing with a big size difference. And also players' abilities really change at those levels to where some of the players really excel, get faster, they get stronger, they learn the game, they learn their edges, they run into little Johnny that hasn't quite picked up on these things, and little Johnny's getting thrown around the ice. Now, it's not because this player is meaning to do it. It's just little Johnny, unfortunately, hasn't learned how to take a hit yet. And those things are unfortunate. Yeah. And as it goes, it slowly tapers down as they get older. And then once we get back to men's league, that is the most vocal parents because they're the ones that are on the ice. Okay? That's where I'll go with it.
Well, men's league, nobody's happy. It doesn't matter if they're winning or losing, nobody's happy.
The one thing about men's league, working it for all the years, and, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You could go out there and work your butt off in a men's league game, and some guy is going to yell at you at 11 o'clock at night. You could go out there and be the laziest person in the world, and the same guy's going to yell at you at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of guys are like, well, okay, I'm here. And they get through the game, and they don't interact, they don't respond, and they go home.
Yeah.
Because if you killed yourself for it, and I'm not saying you shouldn't try, I'm just saying they do what needs to get done, and they just try to stay out of interactions, and then they go home.
Yeah. Yeah, there's different ways to look at doing those games, that's for sure. But getting back, you don't think that you have a lot of vocal parents at like the peewee level where they're starting to bump into each other a little bit more and play a little more aggressive towards one another, but can't hit at this point?
Yeah, it depends. It really does depend. The worst in the peewee level would be when you have an all girls team play a youth team, and the girls have learned how to angle. The women's hockey has superseded men's hockey in angling.
Absolutely.
At the younger levels, and it looks like they're hitting people, and they are absolutely not. I mean, it is something amazing to watch when they angle somebody into the boards.
It is a much tighter played game than boys hockey or men's hockey, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's youth hockey.
Yeah, youth. They do a great job at it. They play right on top of you, and they use the entire 200 by 85. They utilize all the ice. They're really good at it. I got to give them a lot of credit on that.
And you know what? It's unfortunate that those things happen, and it's because the people are not used to seeing that skill level. So it looks like a penalty, but it's not. And that's the hardest thing to understand is there is still body contact in ice hockey where checking is not allowed.
I think most people forget that it is body contact or body check. You play in two different types of divisions. One is you can still bump. You still get bumped. You get angled. You can still use the boards. You can do a lot of things. You just can't drop shoulders. You can't throw hips. You can't take the hands and shove into somebody with force. But that doesn't mean you're not going to bump or get on top of somebody and get close. That's the game. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think like they should be untouched. Nobody should come near them, that there's a invisible wall around them that, this is my area and you can't cross into it. And sadly, they find out that that's not the case. Yes.
Yeah. And from somebody that doesn't work a lot of those levels of hockey, to be honest with you, my comfortable level of that is, God, I hope I work with somebody when I'm working it that really knows it. Because trust me on this, I'm going to be like, I think it's okay. And I'm doing my best on it. I just don't look at it a lot.
Yeah.
So
I think that's, that's a really good point for all officials at all levels. I think that, when you work a certain level regularly, you're very comfortable with what the standard is, and you can immediately find out or it just pops out like, no, that should not be happening in this game. It's a penalty at that point. But if you work, if you're working a ton of peewee games, when somebody throws a check, that.
Your skills.
And if you're working a lot of high school varsity games, when they've crossed the line and it's a penalty. But for a lot of officials, if they've been working, peewees and maybe some Bantam games, and then they go up to a high level varsity game, and they probably think every hit is a penalty because they're not used to the standard. And I think that's where a lot of officials find themselves in a very awkward spot. I think, it's called spaced repetition. The more you see it, the more you become comfortable with what is acceptable versus what is not acceptable.
Hey, I'm going to give you credit throwing out space repetition there. That's high level thinking. I'm not going to lie. That was a good one, Scott.
Yeah, thanks.
That was a good one. No, it's not. Hey, I'm very impressed.
But it really is. And when you see it over and over, if you don't work college on a regular basis and now you go work a college game, whether it be a D3, D2, D1, whatever the case may be, there's a standard out there. And, you may have to get through the first 3 or 4 minutes because, even at a high level, Bantam, midget, junior game, whatever, the testosterone levels are so high at that point. When they come on the ice, they are just flying and fired up. They've got 110% energy at that point. That you have to let these guys play a little bit. You got to let them get through the first shift or two, before you're going to panic and freak out and think that they're just killing each other. But, they're just totally jacked up at that point. You got to let them breathe and calm down a little bit, and then you get a hockey game out of this. But
after that 3 minutes every once in a while, then you finally do realize they are killing each other.
Yes.
And then
you can deal with it appropriately. Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, but that's kind of the case. And I think a lot of officials don't understand that, if you're working a level that you're not used to, they don't know when it's a penalty or not. And they may have something that they should be calling in that first couple minutes that they let go because they just weren't sure. They're not comfortable. And then as they see the game progress or move on, they're like, I probably should have called that in the first minute of play. Maybe that was a little over the top. But I think most officials want to let the game start to, get a feel, like get some flow to it. You don't want to drop the puck and, he looked at somebody. That's a penalty. You're coming from a peewee standard or a squirt standard, and now you're in a hard-hitting varsity game or something. So it's, I think that's fair to say. I think probably more officials err on the side of not making that call than making the call that they probably should make. And I see that because I think you'll work with some higher level officials that do those games regularly, and they're not afraid to put their hand up in the first minute of play
30
if
seconds.
they see something. Yeah.
I mean, I did a college game the other day, and it was 12 seconds into the game, and it was a little FU cross-check shot to the small of the back, and the guy went right into the boards.
Yep.
Penalty. Nobody said a word. We went right to the bottom. Like, the player didn't say a word, the coach didn't say anything, but I'm like, whoa, like, the second he did it, I was like, if I let this go now, we're going to have a mess.
Yeah.
Like,
because that sets the standard.
I'm like,
just
no, let's
established.
go.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
But it's hard to sometimes make those calls because you're like, really? We got a penalty 12 seconds into the game?
Yeah.
But sometimes it has to be done. It's just part of the game, unfortunately. I've been part of games where guys hit somebody from behind 30 seconds into the game and you're throwing them out.
Yep. It happens.
See ya.
They are, these guys are very pumped up when they get out there, as they have to be. They need to survive, and the coaches have done everything they can to get them ready for the game.
Get them all riled up.
Get them all riled, baby, ready to go. All right, let's say hello to a few people and take a few questions here as we continue. When are the Thanksgiving games coming out for the Loyola tourney?
I don't know.
Any
honestly.
idea? I don't either.
Normally they'll be out like sometime this week.
Yeah,
probably Thursday.
Probably pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
We already got to Karen with the level of the parents. Let's see. This is when are the Thanksgiving games coming? Okay, redundancy.
Same question as before.
Redundancy. Yes. What in the hell is Brad doing on a random weeknight banding with Matt Schwartz at Skokie? I don't know who that is.
It's not random. It's a Friday, so it's really not that random of a night.
The bigger question is, what's he doing on the north side of town, huh? He's coming in our area, man. You got to stay in your neck of the woods. I don't go down in your area. Don't be coming up in my area, right?
I used to live up in that area, so
Terry says, "Hey guys, what's up, Terry? How are you? Good to see you. Glad you're here." Nice thing about female games is that there's more room on the bench. Is there more room on the bench? Do they have fewer players?
Generally,
or are you just saying they're smaller? Either way.
Yeah, let's not leave that up to interpretation.
Too much at the recent tournament trip.
You need to read these sometimes.
Yeah, I should probably look at them before. Again, that would be another lie.
The next one's
Super
just as
belligerent
bad.
on the bench at the tournament. Yeah, right.
How did this guy find out?
It's funny, too, because Coach and I just look at each other on some of the calls or non-calls and go, wow, really? Because we don't say anything. We know better. But, it is interesting.
Not according to this guy.
Now that I'm on the coaching side of things, it's very interesting to see what some of you may be seeing at some of the games, depending on the level of hockey you're playing, because let's just say it's interesting. They're learning too. Some of these guys are learning. Some of them have been around a long time. They need to be learning. They should tune in and watch the show more often. Get some of that insight because
we can also teach them how to put up insults.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other
they're doing a good job of that. They're already doing a good job of that. You should really put it up in your own name so I can call you out. I have a feeling I probably can figure out a few of these people, but, I'm not going to call them out. All All right, I got one for you. This came up.
Okay.
I had an official, and you may know who this is. I'm not going to use a name.
We don't need to know.
No, but it's a female official, and she was working a game. I think it was a high school game, and the player made a comment to her and said, "Nice ass." Where does that fall in the rule book, in your opinion? I know where it falls in my opinion, if I heard that, but where does it fall in your opinion?
I can't comment. I haven't had it happen, so I don't know where it falls.
Nobody
Also,
said you have a nice ass, apparently.
No. I've been called a fat ass quite a few times, but that,
Well, that
doesn't
one,
matter what my
that's
weight
more
was
qualified then, but yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
like telling me something that
No, official asked me about
my
that
feeling hurt.
the other night. They had been at a game and something came up about that, and I thought I would ask you because it brings up an interesting scenario. We have a lot of things in the book that will get you a match penalty. I don't think that's a match penalty personally, but I think it warrants at least an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, possibly.
and that goes with your interpretation of the rule. So
Right.
that's where all of us have to really look back and see what the rules are meant for.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Everybody's got an opinion, just like icing. Icing, everybody thinks, oh, it's real straightforward. I looked in the rule book yesterday, and in the case book, there are 6 pages dedicated to icing. 6 pages. It's not as simple as everybody thinks. Okay? And, for a lot of you men's leaguers especially that think it's real simple, it's whatever you think it should be. You may be mistaken. So you got to put that out there.
It is incredibly, incredibly simple while you're playing, but it's amazing to me whenever we have a referee seminar, we'll get guys out there and it's one guy with a stick and a puck shooting it down the ice, and we will have officials put their arm up when the guy shoots it and his stick crosses the center line.
Yeah.
And they cross over the center line.
And these are guys that play. These guys that play regularly. They play high level hockey even. I'm amazed by it too. I mean, you have guys playing at some of the best high schools in the Illinois area, and they don't realize that if they've got the puck on the blue line that they haven't entered the zone yet. And then when the official calls offside, they're up in arms. It's like, well, you don't know that you have to bring the puck over the blue line all the way.
You want to see a real interesting one?
Yeah.
You have a guy with his feet in the attacking zone, catch the puck over the blue line, and then bring it across the blue line without touching his feet back to that blue line. That's a real good one. Well, no, I caught it, and it was still in the neutral zone. Yeah, but it's by your feet, bro.
Yeah.
It's where your feet are. Your feet are offsides.
Yep. Yeah, it is interesting. Let's see what we got here. We got a couple people chiming in here. Okay, Anthony says hateful and discriminatory language. Okay. Would you match him, Anthony? Is that a match in your opinion? Or is that, a minor for unsportsmanlike? Or is it a 10-minute misconduct? I'm curious. He says, more on the discriminatory nature of. Okay. He says, this one says it's a minor 2-minute penalty. That's what I would say. I think it's a 2-minute penalty personally. Could be a 10-minute misconduct. Got to be 10 in today's world. You might be right, Terry. We certainly get that. And somebody says it's not hateful at all. Yeah. Some people would say it's a compliment. I'm just going to throw it out there. Discriminatory, not hateful, sorry. Okay. Let's see, Karen. If it's said just once, a word with the coach. If the comments escalate, you're getting time. Yeah, okay. I agree. Maybe it is a conversation with the coach for the coach to take it up with the player. I don't know. I think if it's said out loud and everybody can hear it, that's at a face-off circle, I think it warrants a penalty. At worst, I'll give him misconduct. Okay. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm okay with that too. Not matching somebody for giving a compliment. Yep, me neither. I agree with that. I'm pretty much on board. I personally think it should be I like the idea of a conversation with the coach. Maybe it's 2 minutes and a conversation with the coach. It's inappropriate, I think. So I think that falls in unsportsmanlike conduct, personally. So I'm glad some of you guys share the thoughts on this. Brad doesn't want to comment on it. I get it. He's the referee in chief, and it's not really in the rule book covered as that. So I'll respect that. And I just thought we'd throw that one out there. I understand we've got some different. We're going to have some openings in some places that haven't had openings in a long time as far as coaching goes. I won't mention what schools or which people, but I'm hearing some rumblings that there's some changes coming forward for next year that we haven't seen in quite some time. So that may be kind of interesting. Probably going to see a lot of coaches moving around next season then, based on that, because they're highly desirable jobs that are out there. There's a couple of them, and there's going to be a lot of good people looking to move up in the world, obviously. So that's something that we're going to look forward to for next season as well. All right, with that being said, what else you got for us, Brad? Want to talk about the parents a little bit more with the referees and, getting from point A to point B, and, because I've had some of the younger officials that show up late because the parents decided to go to somebody's house and just lost track of time. And so they showed up after the game started. It's like, yeah, we decided to go here. Okay, well, your responsibility if you're under 16 is to get your referee to the game that he's supposed to be at.
It's really the referee's issue. It's them to get their parent to get moving, unfortunately.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a give and take, unfortunately, in that situation.
It's a job.
I didn't referee before I was 16, so I drove everywhere. Let me tell you, I learned how to get from one rink to another, and I can either get on the highway. I don't need to get on the highway. I can tell you how to get from my doorstep down to Afton in St. Louis, turn by turn, just from memory. That's how many times I've done it. Yeah. There's a lot of rinks out here that I can get to, and then there's a couple. I went to one a couple weeks ago, and I was up there, and I'm like, all right, I'm on the road, and I'm like, I think this is the turn. I turn, I'm going down, I'm like, I think this is the other one. And then you start to see some familiar landmarks, and you're like, all right, I'm going the right way. And then I couldn't find the building. I had to get my GPS out. I was pretty close.
Which building, may I ask?
I was going to North Shore. I hadn't been there in a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, North Shore is tucked in a little bit. There's like three ways to get in. Actually, there's 4 ways to get in there. And it requires a U-turn in just about all of them, which is really interesting.
Yep, you are correct. You are correct.
Yeah.
The only one that isn't is where you cross over the train tracks. You don't have to make that U-turn.
Well, you can come in the back. You can come in back through by Crate and Barrel. If you come in, I think that's Landwehr Road or something like that you're coming in off of if you're doing that. But if you're in Techney, there's a stoplight that you can catch. If you decide to go the 2 closer routes, you got to make a U-turn over there, which is really interesting because everybody makes the U-turn. It's at a stop sign. But I'm surprised they don't just put a sign up that says U-turn permitted or no U-turn, in which case you're going to have to drive somewhere else and find a turnaround area, somebody's parking lot or whatever. But, in all the years, and I don't want to jinx it, that I've been going there, I haven't been stopped for the U-turn yet.
Don't go there.
Yeah, just one of those.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
That's bad.
But did you get to see the Christmas light show that's up on the golf course right next door? Was it up when you were there?
No, I was there. It was end of October, so no, they were probably
well, the golf course that overlooks North Shore looking down also has like a Christmas light show that you can pay by card to go through. And you can see most of the lights if you're at North Shore, like they're up in the air. It's really beautiful.
Huh? Scott just sits at the rink.
Yeah, just sit at the rink and watch the light show. Yeah. That's what I do. Yeah. Well, that's
gets his big rabbit ears out from the 70s. Puts them on the top of his car so you can get there.
And some tinfoil. So the picture. If I could get some tinfoil on your shot there, you'd be a lot clearer looking. See, okay. I don't know what's going on. You're a little blurry today. I think you're in the witness protection program on this. But anyway. What are you doing up on the north side so much? Up at North Shore, you're going to meet Schwartz for a game.
To see people.
Were you going to Heartland for that game?
Skokie.
Oh, Skokie. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Skokie's had some high school games this year. which is nice to see.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time since we've had high school games at Skokie, and that's a great building, great ring, great ice, good place good place for a game. I mean, it's
a lot of great places to buy food at around there.
Yeah.
See,
that's Brad knows. Ask the
that's
referees;
good.
they know where to get a snack for lunch or dinner. That's right.
You are correct.
Yeah. But let's see what else we got. Let's talk about your favorite coaches in the SHL, Scott. I don't have any problems with those guys. They're all professionals. They're all good guys. We know a lot of them. We see them all on a regular basis. And, that's what we talk about on the show a lot is if you're a newer official and you don't have any rapport with coaches, then, it's a little more challenging. But, these guys, they've all been around for years. You work many of their games. You're going to know them. You're going to have conversations with them off the ice, at the bench, before a game, after a game, whatever the case may be. You might see them at a golf outing. You don't know. But they're around. So they're real people. You get to know each other, and, they get to know what your style or your standard is going to be. They know what they're getting when they're there. You don't have to ask them twice. They know what they can get away with. They know everybody's little pet peeves. They know Brad Baumruck's going to call a neutral zone hook or something like that, or if he's not going to call a neutral zone hook or interference. They know. They've figured this out. That's why they get the big bucks. So again, being around for a while, I think it makes a big difference. Fell a couple times in roughing recently, and he didn't buy us beers. I've only been down once all season. And yeah, it hurt. Let me tell you, I stepped on a puck. Nothing worse. Stepped on a puck and went down like a rock. Oh,
I told you that happens. I've seen it before.
Oh, it's the worst.
I've stepped on one, but
the
I
tip
didn't
of a
fall.
puck, man, and I went kaboom. My arm's still killing me. My shoulder, it's like rotator. Let's just say I have to use the left arm for the delay signal right now because the right arm is basically frozen. Yeah, so that is true. I tried to get it on Live Barn. I was going to put it on the show, but it was in the corner. So yeah, more power skating.
Oh, so you were saved?
Yeah, I was saved from, I know who, probably Dawson would be the one putting it up, I'm guessing. So, that's the guy that would be, definitely creating the any kind of turmoil that we could have, It's just how it is. One of our buddies.
All right.
All right. What else you got before we go here? We've got Thanksgiving coming up. I think next week Brett Straley's going to join us, and we are going to be looking at some videos. So we're going to play You Make the Call next week. That's what we're going to do. We're going to play some videos, and you make the call.
Because you and me aren't going to see the videos.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I think it's harder to pick them off the videos than it is in the rink as it's happening live. Just for some reason, I think the viewing angle is better when you're in the rink than watching the videos. Because some of these videos, you got to be like, well, where is it going to happen? And, who am I looking at to see what? Can we play it back 4 or 5 times?
Why do they all look like ants? Can we make them a little bigger?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just where the Live Barn camera is.
Yeah. Can we get 4K? Can we get 4K, please? Or at least 1080p.
If anybody wants to see something interesting, go to the Notre Dame College Live Barn and take a look where that thing is. Okay? It's got to be 500 feet above the rink. It is absurd.
Oh, it's up in the rafters looking down?
The players are like this big. Even when you zoom in, like I remember, like my kids were playing there, and I went to go pull up one of my kids' goals because it was a sweet goal. Because it's so far away, you can't see his stick, you can't see the puck, you just see him with his arms up. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. But I looked, it's so far up there. It's in like the 200 section of the building. It's like now
I've never had
mounted it.
I've never had the pleasure of going to Notre Dame to work a game or see a game. I didn't work.
I watched my kids. I hadn't been there.
I've not been to the rink. Yeah, I've not been to that facility.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It really is.
I know it would be.
It was something else beforehand, but now it's a nice barn. But yeah, I hadn't been there since they renovated it, and I was shocked. We went there, I think it was last year or the year before, and I was like, wow, this place is gorgeous. And
How
then
many
I went
people
to go
can
walk.
it seat?
You know what? I didn't look at the plaque. I should have looked, because it's right at the door. I should have looked. I didn't even think of it. But I went to go walk to where the locker rooms used to be, and I went and I was gonna go. And the one person behind the skate rental was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, yeah. They're like, you haven't been here in a while, huh? I'm like, no, it's probably been about 12, 15 years. They're like, locker rooms are over there now. You got to walk through this and this and this. And I'm like, okay. And then one of our dads came by. He's like, I just found him. I'll take you back there.
Sean says the old Joyce Center.
Thank you. That's it. Correct. Yeah. With the track behind the rink on the one side, so the fans were on this side and the track was on the other side. So they'd be having a track meet. So they just pulled this big blue separated thing. It was something else. It was really a discredit for something at Notre Dame. But now it's very nice. They redeemed themselves. It's a gorgeous facility.
Well, have you? I know you've got a couple boys that play hockey, and what are they? They're Pee-wees now.
Pee-wee majors.
Pee-wee majors. So have they skated at like the All-State Arena? I know they do some of those games before the game, or
they did the All-State. They did the Steel. And they did the Hawks.
Did they do the Hawks?
Too.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we're confirmed to do the squirts at All-State Arena this season, and I think they're working on one at the United Center as well. So, personally, I've never skated at the United Center. Never been on United Center ice. I was on the old Chicago Stadium ice twice. Practiced out there with a couple of players when they were back from an injury. But I've never been on the United Center ice before, so that would be kind of exciting. I've actually played at the All-State Arena with my men's league team a number of years ago.
Were you playing basketball when DePaul had it, or were you guys playing hockey?
Playing hockey. Hockey.
I don't know what you got going on. I mean, you could still be playing there.
Playing hockey. Yep, that's what it is. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. We used to shoot pucks at the basketball hoops after practice from center ice. Yeah, that sounds like a winner. Very cool. Yeah, all right. If any of you guys have any other questions you want to pop in the comments, that would be great. Be sure to hit the like and the notification button. Give us a thumbs up. That's always appreciated. We don't ask for much around here. And next week, again, we will be back with You Make the Call. Brett Straley. He is the king of video. Brett loves his videos, so he's got quite a collection. I don't know what he's going to throw at us, but he's going to come with some good ammunition for us next week, I'm sure. And it'll be very controversial, so you want to tune in for that. 5:30 Chicago time, just so you know. We'll do it live on YouTube.
It'll be dark out.
Yeah, so it's dark at 4 o'clock already, man. All I want to do is sleep. This time change thing, even though we get the benefit of the extra hour, I'm not feeling it. Okay, I don't like being.
The days start getting longer, buddy. 1 month.
Yeah, I know. The 21st.
So don't worry about it.
Yep.
It's coming.
Looking forward to it already. On the downside of things, it's still going to get darker even faster. Okay, so we've got another 5 weeks before we turn the corner. Justin said, wait, I missed the first one. Notre Dame lefty is my favorite ice, and better than any Illinois ice except maybe Fifth Third. Yeah, Fifth Third's got great ice, man.
Have you ever skated at Lake Forest Academy?
Lake Forest Academy's got great ice. Winnetka, great ice. Probably some of the best ice, Winnetka.
It's slow.
You think so? North Shore is slower. Like, that's not as good. But you could skate a long time at Winnetka, and the ice stays good. Like, you could put some big boys out there and play, and the ice is still pretty good. Like, you don't have to cut it every 20 minutes. I'm trying to think who else has good ice.
And they got rid of the butcher, those plastic things than the cooled off buildings for like in butcher places. They got rid of that and put some doors in Winnetka finally. About 10 years ago.
Oh, you're talking about the plastic, the plastic strips or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that from the lobby to the rink?
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to? Okay. Yeah, they have doors.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
I always thought that was
Winnetka's talking about putting in 2 sheets of ice, new facility.
Okay.
I think they're getting close. They're talking about doing something very similar to Glenview. Yeah, Glenview is a beautiful facility. Yep, Justin says Glenview is pretty good too. Yes, it is. They've got a first-class facility. There are 2.5 sheets. So we'll see. I don't know how that will play out. I mean, they've got so much going on there, but they did like a year of work in that area because it's a floodplain right there at Willow and Hibbard, where all the parks and everything and the forest preserve kind of meet. But they fixed all the facilities for the schools are fixed over there. And I don't know, they usually stick an outdoor rink right behind the Winnetka ice rink in the wintertime. So I'm sure that'll end up going up fairly soon, but that may be something that they, where they decide to build 2 sheets. So I don't know if they would keep the one up while they build or if they'd take it down and just do the 2 sheets and call it a day. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. But supposedly there are plans being worked on, so we'll see. I hear the Polar Dome. The Polar Dome is returning very shortly, rumor has it. Did you ever skate there?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Skated at the Polar Dome. When you refereed, you used to have to get dressed upstairs, and you used to come down these stairs that were wood, but they were like 1,000,000 years old, and they were slick as heck. Like guys, if you didn't hold on to the railing, I saw tons of guys fall right down those stairs, and you just go right down them.
Yeah. Wonder which team set that up for the referees, huh?
I think that was just poor planning. I mean, look at the players. They got to walk for about a quarter of a mile to get to the locker rooms.
Well, that place was nasty back in the day.
Cab. Yeah. They give you a piece of a taxi cab in order to bring your key back there. Okay, because they got the diamond, whatever that diamond plated stuff is. They give you that, and then you get your locker room key. But you got to walk through the bar.
Man, you remember way more about that place than I do. I only played their men's league for a couple of years where we'd get stuck out there.
And my ultimate favorite is the one wall doesn't have boards. It's just a friggin' wall, okay? There's no glass above it. It just goes right into the lobby. Just a wall with windows in it, okay? And then they put some board on it, okay? It's hard as heck. The puck doesn't go anywhere. And there's a shelf, okay? That's what we used to use. It's like 20 feet in the air. And if the puck went over the shelf, it's out of play. If it stayed under the shelf and went off the wall, it's still in play. That's how we used to do it, okay?
Sounds like Rainbow Arena from back in the day. Rainbow Arena with a brick wall on each side. Front and back had a brick wall. You had the brick wall here and the brick wall here. And then it was wide open here, no glass. No glass around the entire rink,
Yeah. And we wonder why so many guys had traumatizing head injuries.
Right, right.
Oh, a guy got knocked down the staircase. Heck with him. I'll get another guy off the street next week.
Exactly.
All right, let's go.
Karen says the sun shines 3 more minutes every day, and this time of year gets shorter 3 minutes. That's right. And we got 5 more weeks of getting shorter. So 5 more weeks before it starts picking up. That's the negative side of that. That's right.
It was negative. It was positive. We were having a good time.
Yeah, we were on a good spin, and then you took us right down there.
Not Karen. Oh, no, you did. You could have just ignored that for today.
Yeah, no, I can't ignore anything. You know how I am.
All right. Yeah, we know. All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, on behalf of myself and our referee-in-chief, Mr. Brad Baumruck, thank you all for joining us from Chicago. We are the Ref Room. And we will see you next Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. with Brett Straley as we play You Make the Call. So Brett better come with some good ammunition for us next week, all right? Everybody have a great week. Take a couple extra games. I know they need help. And, pick up my squirt games, folks. Love to see you out there. I'll take some good referees at my squirt games. That'd be fun, right?
So you can belittle them. We got
That's right. That's right. I can make comments about them on the show instead of them making comments about me.
All right.
All right, guys.